Well, today it's time for another awesome roller coaster rankings video. And yeah, that's right, I'm gonna be ranking the best launched roller coasters in the world. And I have a total of 10 different launch coasters right here, so this really is the golden circle. Now, before going straight into this list, please consider subscribing, liking and sharing this video. Now, I have to tell you, my list may be a bit different compared to other roller coaster enthusiasts out there, but let's get started. And just coming in at spot number 10, we got Top Thrill 2 at Cedar Point. Wow, many of us has really waited for this roller coaster to reopen, and I was actually so lucky to ride this coaster back in 2024. This is where I was so lucky that those wheel bogies didn't send me flying off the roller coaster track because of those cracks. But let's now talk about the ride experience on Top Thrill 2. We know this is a record-breaking triple launch coaster, and the first launch is surprisingly decent in terms of intensity, but also a bit slow. Every launch on Top Thrill 2 is just very punchy, and on top of that I mostly like that backwards section where you have that huge spike stall. The amazing view and stomach dropping feeling right here is just awesome. Then you go through the final launch and then you just fly up this top hat. It's very intense, you got some whip and also a lot of airtime. And that awesome downward spiral is also great. You get a lot of whip when you sit in those trains. So overall very intense, punchy, great, awesome. Now coming in at spot number 9, we got Helix at Liseberg. But the real pronunciation of this park from my Swedish enemies over there is Liseberg. Now the only problem I have with Helix is actually I can't really decide between that awesome EDM station music or the roller coaster. I don't really know what's better. And it's quite ironic that Helix is on my list because this one features one of the most slow launches ever. Oh, and please excuse me, it's not just one but two slow launches. And now with those two launches out of the way, everything else is just amazing. This roller coaster has an awesome setting on this hillside / hilltop. And Helix is overall a very lengthy coaster experience with a lot of variety in terms of coaster elements. You got many inversions, but also a few decent airtime moments and a few ejector moments also. Now what makes this German created roller coaster even better is that those 7 total inversions feature a lot of variety in terms of forces, because you got some hang time filled inversions and also some decently forceful inversions with a lot of whip. And that's why this coaster deserves spot number 9 even though the launches are horrible. Now coming in at spot number 8, we got Taron at Phantasialand. Now Taron might be one of the most popular rides in the whole world, especially in terms of roller coasters, and this is that famous intimate multi-launch ride with an aggressive second launch. Now my favorite thing about this ride is actually that Taron is quite different compared to other intimate multi-launch coasters. Now first of all, those two launches are just amazing and gut punching, and after that you got a very lengthy and heavily themed roller coaster layout with a lot of whip and speed. Now Taron does also offer 2 or 3 airtime moments, but it's really about that amazing whip on some of these turns. The only negative thing about this ride is actually that this coaster features a quite slow paced area just before the second launch. And now for all those people out there listening, Taron is really a great roller coaster, but some say it's a world class, and it really isn't in my opinion. But with that said, I still think Taron is one of the most re-rideable roller coasters in the world because it features a lot of variety and a lengthy coaster layout. Now coming in at spot number 7, we got Toutatis at Park Asterix. And we could say that Toutatis is part of those next generation intimate multi-launch coasters where you have that swing launch section. And combined with that awesome swing launch section on this coaster, it really feels like a very lengthy ride experience. First of all, you have a punchy LSM launch. After that, a weird hang time inversion, but awesome. That swing launch section on Toutatis is great. You got some ejector airtime right there, an awesome stall, and then you fly up the top hat. But sadly, that beyond vertical drop doesn't really offer anything because of those big trims right there. But after that, Toutatis is just amazing because you got a fast-paced layout with many elements such as a stalled inversion, airtime moments, little airtime hill, and also that final inversion is great, very whippy. And after that small overbank turn, this is where the coaster finishes off with 2 aggressive airtime moments, and this is where Intimate really shows off that they can really do that Steel Vengeance ending. Now some people may say that this is a robbery, but coming in at spot number 6, we got Taiga at Linnanmäki. Now surprise we got yet another intimate multi-launch coaster right here, and Taron still offers a lengthy coaster layout with a lot of variety and also 2 different launches. And you can really draw a lot of similarities between Taron and Taiga right here. And the reason I've put Taiga above Taron is very clear. This coaster is just way more intense. Now just like Taron, I think Taiga features a lackluster ending on the first half, but but then you hit that rolling launch and the ride goes from 0 to 100. But then Taiga hits these amazing big elements with top hat, 0G stall and so on, and the roller coaster keeps getting more and more aggressive. Now because of that very lengthy, twisted, blue mess of track on Taiga, you have some hidden secrets with airtime moments, twists and turns that are very forceful. Overall just very awesome. Now just squeezing in right in the middle at spot number 5, we got Maverick at Cedar Point. Now this very small and classic intimate blitz coaster really surprised me when I tried it out in 2024. And before riding Maverick, I actually thought that people who said Maverick was better than Steel Vengeance were just out of their minds. But then I tried this classic intimate blitz many times and it is actually insane. Even though Maverick was the original intimate blitz / LSM coaster as they call it now, it is still very interesting because you got that slow LSM lift hill with that awesome whippy beyond vertical drop. Now every element on Maverick is what I would call very intense. And of course the stars of the show on this ride experience are of course those dangle dive moments. They are just so fast paced and aggressive. Now the only critique I can give Maverick is actually those trims after that awesome tunnel launch. Unfortunately those trims are really hard hitting. Now coming in at spot number 4, we got Batman Gotham City Escape at Park Warner Madrid. Now the first thing I have to say right here is of course that Batman Gotham City Escape is just the best Batman themed roller coaster in the world. And as always, this is a world-class intimate multi-launch coaster, but Batman actually features 3 awesome launches. Now the best thing about this coaster is the very unique ride layout. You got some very interesting elements right here. This coaster starts out with an awesome hang time filled inversion, but it also ends with one of the best hang time filled inversions in the world. And now that we have gotten the hang time out of the way, the roller coaster is just filled with awesome ejector airtime moments in terms of airtime hills and funky elements. And surprise those LSM launches are very punchy, but that's typical intimate. Now the ending of this coaster is quite weird because you hit that very weird looking spike, but it really smells like a burnt dog down there. Now coming in at spot number 3, we got Ride to Happiness at Plopsaland. Well, it's quite funny to see that Plopsaland is home to one of the world's most intense rides right here. Now as most of us know, Ride to Happiness is an extreme spinning coaster by Mack Rides, and this is the second installation. And it's funny to see that they went all out with the second installation because Ride to Happiness is just insane. Now every aspect of this coaster is just insane. The layout is filled with ejector airtime, strong whip, and then you have this spinning coaster train. Holy moly. And you might think that Ride to Happiness offers a graceful ride experience because of the spinning train, but no, you got an intense thrill ride coaster layout with insane whip, ejector airtime, but it's just out of control. Now you could hear me stumbling over my own words, and that's just the perfect description of that insane flying snake dive after the second rolling launch. And I often finish off by saying that Ride to Happiness feels like you're getting thrown around by the Hulk from the Marvel universe, if you know. Now coming in at spot number 2, we got Voltron at Europa Park. And now please hear me out. Before riding this roller coaster back in fall 2024, I didn't really know if this coaster could beat Ride to Happiness, but it really did. And I'm sorry, I don't really get that Voltron is only number 18 on Captain Coaster. This is a top 10 minimum. And I also have to address this topic, roughness. People are saying this roller coaster is rough and rattly, but I can't really feel anything. Now the only slight rattle I can feel on Voltron is just the typical Mack Rides intensity. And speaking of intensity, this ride is filled with amazing pacing, forceful elements, hang time fill inversions, whippy inversions, many launches, awesome moments. And combined with that world-class theming from Europa Park, you got a top tier ride right here. Well, some people say that this turntable destroys the ride experience, but I think it's just like Hagrid's at Universal Islands of Adventure. It's a perfect mix. And remember, this coaster can feature 7 total trains on the track. Now coming in at spot number 1, we got VelociCoaster at Islands of Adventure. Now speaking of all-inclusive ride experiences, we got VelociCoaster, and just like Voltron, this one is heavily themed, awesome roller coaster layout, world class. And in my opinion right here, it's a very close race between VelociCoaster and Voltron, but the theming around VelociCoaster is just world class. Now the biggest shocker and surprise is that VelociCoaster is an intimate multi-launch coaster. Oh my goodness. Now what can I really say? The first section is a bit slow paced but still very forceful, surprisingly. And I don't really have to speak about what happens after that second launch. One of the best airtime moments in the world in the front row with that top hat element. After that awesome drop, 0G stall, awesome airtime, and one of the best inversions in the world, if not the best. the Mosasaurus roll. The best thing about this ride for me is that it offers a completely different ride experience from the front to the back row. Well, now I really want to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Do you agree or do you disagree with my picks right here? And if you really like theme park and roller coaster videos, please make sure to like, subscribe and share to a friend. Then at the end of the day, I'm always gonna say bye bye.